Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the CPA-fol Podcast. I'm going to get started a little early today, episode 27. Hasn't been 27 weeks exactly, but it's been 27 episodes. And let me tell you, I'm excited about today's episode. As you can guess, I lately have been liking talking about BIONICLE a lot. And let me tell you, there's been a lot of stuff in the works, a lot of potential future things in the works. And I know I've been trying to convert some of you all to be BIONICLE fans. Speaking of, first channel member in the chat, we've got Scott Davis, the bastion of the LEGO online community. Thanks so much for stopping by this stream. Hopefully you all are able to make it for the entire stream, because I'm just kind of kicking it off early. Don't worry, LEGOMEN's gonna be here. He's in a different time zone, so he's got to kind of catch up to where we're at here on the eastern side. So we'll get there eventually. Don't you worry about a thing. And a little later this week, of course, actually a lot later this week, starting at 10:30 Eastern. So we'll kind of see. We'll see how the timing works, and we'll see if we can get a couple more people in here because of that timing difference. Might not plan to do that every single week, but of course, you know, if it works with the people, hey, who am I to argue against that? And no other channel members in chat just yet, but I have no surprises. No, I'm not holding anything back. I'm sure we're going to get some of those other channel members. And obviously, yes, Cooper. Thank you so much. One of the great moderators in the chat, of course. Thank you so much for joining this evening. I hope you all aren't BIONICLE'd out, because let me tell you, there's a lot we can talk about. Not everything. I'm not going to share everything with you all. Don't, you would be so lucky that I would share everything with you all, but one step at a time, one step at a time. And then, as always, whenever we got a BIONICLE stream, you know Kathleen's going to show up saying, the Matoran, the Toa, the Turaga. Thank you so much for stopping by. And, man, fun fact, actually, for those of you who are here, which all of you three were here for the Cardis Dragon build a couple weeks ago, I don't have a spot that can actually fit him and Vazon. So he's actually, let's see if I can turn the camera. He is still sitting right where he was built. He's still sitting right there. So, needless to say, I've got some work to do, finding out a spot for him to go chill. But as you can see, Cooper mentioned, background looks great. It's still kind of a work in progress. I mean, you may have noticed a little piece I added actually yesterday. I've had it for a little bit, but I added it just yesterday. Yeah, I think I chucked it up there yesterday, and I think it's looking really, really great in that corner. May or may not have some more pieces in the works to throw up there, which I'm super excited for. So, and Scott, yes, 100%. This is a BIONICLE revolution. And man, I don't know if any of you follow, I'm sure some of you certainly follow Duck Bricks on YouTube. He's, all right, we have an update. We're going to have to stall for about 15-ish more minutes. But I think we can do that. I've got, if you say BIONICLE, I've got plenty to talk about. So I'm not too worried about it. Once I send this message. Okay. The plan is, for the future, I know I mentioned a couple weeks ago getting Greg Farsty on the podcast. And I know Kathleen, I think you were up for that. Who else in the chat was up for that? was, man, we got to get Angry Canadian, awesome Bionicle fan. I think Clever Pig is also a Bionicle fan. Some of you, you will have to remind me of that. Scott, you might have to remind me. But, ooh, man, getting him on here would be amazing. Having those conversations about story. And just to give you all a little update, if you are so inclined, I did actually pick up. Fun fact about Clever Pig, I just started watching his videos last week, and I have to say I love his content style. I tried to shoot him a message on Discord. I imagine he just doesn't use Discord that much, but I hope to connect with him at some point, get him on the podcast, just because, you know, he's familiar with the content creation. So I will be very excited to yeah, dude, he's just got that chill vibe. He actually kind of reminds me of someone I knew back in high school-ish. Just kind of that chill vibe. Doesn't really get too excited. He's excited, obviously he's excited, but doesn't really show it too much. Not loud, kind of quiet, chill. So if any of you haven't figured that out by now, that is 100% my vibe. So cutting it up about Lego, cutting it up about Bionicle, that is what I am all about. And I think as I was saying it, and Kathleen, you're gonna have to be a little more, I don't remember what I said. So you have to remind me what I said. But I think it was a week or so ago, I picked up some Bionicle comics. So I've got a lot of them. I've got issues 1 through 18 with a couple of gaps in there. I think maybe 3 or so gaps. So my plan, and I'll show you all a little bit behind the curtain about what my plan is. My plan is to bring these comics to life. And I know I'm not the first person to do this with Bionicle comics. Certainly not the last person to probably try it, I imagine. Not the first, but I did search to see who all was out there making this kind of stuff. Visualizations of Bionicle comic books. And like I said, I saw one person for the most part. So I want to try my hand at creating Bionicle comic visualizations. So here's what I have in mind. We have the panels. And promise me none of you in the chat right now are going to try this. Granted, it's I've probably spent already 3 hours doing some, we'll call it pre-visualization, preliminary work, preparation that you just have to do with what I want to do with it. And I put some time in there, let me tell you that. So the plan is... Oh, Kathleen says, you're going to try to get Greg Farsty on the podcast. And let me tell you, yes, I want to try and get Greg on the podcast. The goal, as a Bionicle fan, as a fan of these stories, a fan of these creations, I want to have a discussion with Greg Farsty and just figure out kind of how did he decide how characters were going to interact with each other? How did he decide personalities? How did he create this monster machine that we have today? And just how involved was he? I kind of want to figure out some of those things. And who knows? Who knows where the conversation could go? Because it really could go anywhere. And to say the least, I am very intrigued with what I could potentially learn. So yes, the goal is to get Greg on the podcast. So I'll be honest, it could be a pre-recorded podcast where I just post the video, or it could be live. I do want to certainly do it live. That is the goal, because I think it's more authentic. You all can have some interaction with him, and it just makes it an overall better environment. But you'll have to let me know in the chat if that's something you really, really want to see, and just kind of how all that could work out, because I definitely want to get your input, because it's honestly for you. It is for me, of course. I definitely want to learn from him, learn from the master, but hey, anything's possible. Let me tell you that. Now, to bring it back to my plans for the comic books. And hold on, I did want to mention we've got about a 10-minute wait before LEGOMEN 360 is able to hop on. So he will be here momentarily. So we'll hold on until then. Well, back to the comics. What I want to try and do is basically take these panels and essentially bring them to life. Figure out, how can I best make it dynamic, make it active, make it feel like, you know, when you're reading a comic and you're imagining it in your head, and it's maybe it's like a movie. It's like a movie in your head, but you can't quite see that all on the screen. I want to basically take that with these comics and turn it into how you would picture it in your head, with sound effects, with as good of voice acting as I can try. I've always wanted to try my hand at voice acting. It's just something I've always been interested in, trying to figure out how to manipulate your voice to sound different with different characters, test your inflection, test just kind of all the different ways you can make your voice sound like different people, different characters. So I really do want to try that. Of course, I am going to have to... I don't really want to do Gali. I would rather have a lady, potentially my wife, Mrs. CPA, voice Gali. I think that would be pretty fun. I would hope she would be down to at least try it once or twice, and we can go from there. I would really prefer to not pitch shift my voice upwards. I don't think that would be ideal. So, gonna give that a whirl. I think that would be a lot of fun, and I would be super excited to see the potential of bringing these Bionicle comics to life, because I feel like I'm not going to say there's a need. I don't know if people really need those, but I think once people see it, and once people, I just want to look at it and be proud of it. I want to look at it, be proud of it. Whether or not it gets a ton of views, you know, I would be probably happy with 10,000 views. I think that would be, for the work that I'm putting into it, I would think that would be a great milestone. But man, in my mind, I want to look at this and say, this could be a 50,000 view video. It's not going to be very long. It's probably going to be about 5 minutes. But in my mind, I'm like, I would expect people outside of Bionicle to see this and say, wow, that's a well-made video. And I know it's going to take a lot of work, a lot of time, a lot of effort, but that's just kind of how I see this working out. And in my head, I see it all in my head. It's pictured there in my head, but you know, the trouble is going to be getting it onto the screen in the way that I want, and trying to figure out, be a better Final Cut Pro user, be a better visualization individual, as I'm not entirely visual. I'm a kind of just, it's got to be rooted in facts and numbers and kind of hard evidence. So trying to work out my creative vibes and get a little more creative. Catching up with the chat, Squidman, it's been a while since I've seen you around. I hope you're doing well. I have something to show you. Hold up. I have something to show Squidman. Give me a second. I have to find it. I don't know where I put it. Oh, Nope, I found it. I found it. So, if for those of you who know, and you can see, Squidman's picture is the Squidman alien from the Space Police sets. And so there's always been this running joke that there's this one Bionicle that looks like the Squidman character. And certainly, sure enough, Squidman, I recently purchased, if it will focus, the Squidman bonk. Look at that. Look at how beautiful that is. I gotta fix his posing so he kind of looks a little more majestic. Look at that. Let me turn the brightness down a little bit. Look at that. Literally, does that not look like the Squidman? There, I'll put it. Look, it looks literally the same exact color scheme as his character. Isn't that wild? So yeah, I picked up your brother. So Squidman has now entered the chat, and oh, he's got gray hands. Does he have? And they even kind of look like Lego hands. They're literally Lego hands. And then of course underneath he's got the metallic Krana. So how exciting is that? That's a good idea, Scott. I do want to get Harry to do a voice. I think he would enjoy that a lot. I hope he's up. He's got a good mic, so he can send me good files. I hope he is certainly up for getting his voice actor skill on and doing. He would be a good voice for Pohatu, because I need to think of certain voice actors to do different characters. But then the thing is, once you commit to one character, you gotta do him every single time. So he can't be Pohatu one day and then Liwa another day. He's got to stick to the same voice. So we'll definitely figure something out. Maybe Caleb. Maybe it would just be fun to get a whole bunch of people. Hey, how crazy would that be if I tracked down the actual voice actors for the Bionicle movie and then did that? Oh, that would be wild. Actually, yeah, I do miss Life Bricks too. I did ask him to be on the podcast a while ago, and it was kind of right before he took a break. So, or right, I should say, literally right as he was taking a break. So, he unfortunately has not been able. Ooh, that's hot. So, unfortunately, he has not been able to be on the podcast. But I hope he's doing well. I don't know, Squidman, if you've heard from him at all. I imagine you would hear from him before I would, likely. Regardless. Aw, that's sad. I mean, it sounds like ACOB has been hearing from him, so I hope he is doing well. I do miss him. Maybe, here's what's going to happen. He's going to be silent until Brick World Chicago. And then come Brick World, he's going to walk into the orientation room. Tyler's going to walk into the orientation room, and he's going to be like jacked to the nines. And he's going to his shirt's going to be busting open because he's just so jacked and ripped. And we're going to be like, oh, crazy. That's exactly what's going to happen. He's going to reach his goals. And he's going to hit that. I just know it. Oh yeah, back to Kathleen's point. Have you actually read the Bionicle stories, like the books, online serials, comics, played the Matanui online game? So the technical answer is no. I have not read. I've read some, but I've not read all of them. I have almost finished Into the Darkness Below. Let's see, Bionicle, The Darkness Below. I've almost finished that book. It's almost done. And however, there's a giant asterisk because giant asterisk, because I have watched and I know it's not a replacement for the Bionicle stories, but I have seen the Duckbricks lore, 9-hour lore video 2 times all the way through. I've watched it twice all the way through. So I'm getting a better grasp of the overall picture and story of Bionicle. That's kind of where I'm at with the whole story. However, my plan is, I do certainly want to go through and literally just read everything. Thanks to Biomedia Project, we all have access to all of the comics, all of the books, literally everything. You can download the online game, all that stuff. So the plan is to get every single of everything and read through that. Just because there is so much. There's so much story. I think I've heard Greg Farsty say there's literally 30 more years of story that an artist or that Lego could create as a result of what's already been created. So this is a big universe if you're writing to the correct audience. And I think that's the most important part that Lego needs to know, is to write to the correct audience. And they'll sell many everything. They'll sell everything. And what's your present? Let me know your present. And Will, thank you so much. Will Bricks Productions, thanks for stopping by. Great to see you in the chat. I'm sure you're here for LEGOMEN. I know all of you're here to see what's up with LEGOMEN 360. I am not clickbaiting you. I did not put his face on the thumbnail to trick you all into watching this episode of the podcast, but he will be here in a little bit. He's getting ready. He had some events today. You know, it's a Saturday. People got stuff going on. So he's going to be hopping on momentarily, and we'll start up the call. So don't you worry. We'll get things going. LEGOMEN 360 will? Well, if you don't know who LEGOMEN 360 is, you'll be introduced to a very, very down-to-earth Lego YouTube content creator. He focuses on mocks for the most part, Star Wars mocks. He has, I don't know if this is public information, but since he's not here yet, I can share it anyways. He has made a couple of Bionicle mocks. And so, I don't know if he shared them with the public though, but he needs to. He really, really needs to. So, just kind of a chill dude. I think he's coming to Brick World Chicago, which, I mean, we can certainly talk about that. I've got a list of some things that I'm planning to talk about with him tonight. And yeah, if you don't know, I quote unquote met him. Actually, fun fact, I haven't even met him in person. This is actually the first time we're talking directly to each other, not through the DMs. So you all are going to see a brand new conversation. But he just messaged me, so I'm gonna see if he's ready for the call. And then we'll get things rolling. All right. I'm gonna give him a call real quick, and then we'll hop him on the stream. How exciting. Gotta do some reorganizing, all that jazz. So if you all would give me a little moment. Oh, I imagine you sent me an email? Appreciate it. I will definitely be checking all those out in due time. All right. I need to mute some audio because I don't want you guys to... With his Zillow beast. Yeah, exactly. I just want to make sure I'm muting the right audio because... Okay, whatever. We'll figure it out. I'll give him a call real quick. Oh, that's loud. Hopefully that's not too loud for all of you. Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, let me get you on screen and I'll fix the volume. Okay. 1 second. Using OBS definitely has its drawbacks.
Yeah, that's true for sure.
Okay.
I like OBS.
All right. We're editing on the fly. It's all good. Okay. And chat, you got to let me know, are you can you hear Cole all right? I might have to pause the music. Let's pause the music. Turn the volume up. All right, give me a 1 2 3.
Check 1 2 3. What
Chat,
is up, everybody?
how's he sounding? I can boost the volume. Let me know how he's sounding. We got a thumbs up from Cooper. Cooper's a real one, so I'll take his word for it. If it was anyone else, I probably wouldn't believe him.
He's a reliable one. I always see him in streams and stuff like that. What's up, Cooper?
Oh, now Scott says boost them. We've got two very reliable but conflicting. Are you able to turn your mic up a little bit? Your sensitivity?
Yeah, I can.
Just a pinch.
All right. How's that? Is that better?
Oh, that's good. That's golden.
Okay. Cool.
That's golden. So how's it going? You've had a busy day, but that's
Yeah.
a Saturday, I guess.
Been going since 6 a.m. Finally home, but yeah, I'm happy to be home.
Well, I'm super glad that you were willing to take. I know I gave you a little bit of a last minute notice today, but
That's all good. No worries.
I know I would never. I don't know if have you ever asked Caleb last minute?
No, never. I would.
No, you never should.
Oh,
Don't do it. He won't watch this, so this news won't get back to him. It's all good. But
Unless one of you.
yeah, no one in chat. Don't tell Caleb that I said that. He's not gonna be too happy. But no, it's all good. So I just kind of wanted to give an overview, or I guess you can give an overview about yourself, just because, like I mentioned earlier in the stream, we've never talked
No, this is
verbally
the
to
first
each other. So,
Yeah.
so I thought it'd be funny that like everyone's gonna see a first time conversation on the stream, which is cool. I think it's cool. But
Yeah.
I wanted to kind of get to know you a little better, your Lego, I guess Lego days back, which I'm sure started when you were a kid, and then
Yep.
kind of how you got into Lego YouTube and all that stuff. So you can just start wherever, we can see where the conversation goes, and then of course we have to kind of bring it back to BIONICLE.
Oh yeah, of
Can't
course.
not do that.
So I'll start at the end, which is the present day, and it's like I'm just doing it because I love it. I've found a way to integrate like my love for photography and film and just video in general. Make it a little more fun, and just building is so relaxing, and I'm sure everybody, it's like kind of the pastime, de-stress, that kind of thing. But yeah, mainly focusing on Lego Star Wars right now. I definitely want to branch into like Castle and more Bionicle stuff in the future and stuff. But Star Wars, of course, is really expensive, so
Yes,
gotta pick and choose my battles here. But hopefully, I'll branch out into my other stuff. But I started posting on my YouTube channel, and I think my first video is like 2009.
Wow.
And I was doing a lot. I was posting a lot of videos. They're all still up if anybody's curious to look at teenage Cole just, in his room building like little mocks and stuff like that. Those were the glory days, the golden days. And then you get into high school and you're like, Lego's not cool anymore, I'm bringing girls home.
Oh yeah.
You can't let them see it. But then I think COVID hit. I got like a stimulus check, and I'm just like, hey, let's see what Lego's putting out. And I saw Jango Fett Slave One, or sorry, Boba Fett Slave One,
the 25th anniversary.
Yeah, 25th anniversary. And I'm like, this is awesome. I missed out on like the earlier ones, so I'll pick this up. And it was just building it was so nostalgic and was awesome. And then I saw the 501st set, and I'm like, okay, now that I'm an adult, I can get like,
As many as
10
you
of these.
want. Yeah.
Yeah. So I did that. And yeah, that's kind of where it all started. I started with alt builds and really enjoyed the alt builds. So definitely want to continue on with that, but I've just been focusing on more so mocks and stuff like that right now.
So
Um,
have you had the same YouTube channel since 2009?
yeah, yeah.
That's wild.
Oh man, that was back in the glory days. I remember watching David, aka Lego Boy 1 through 8, now Solid Bricks. And then just like Kesha 8, Forest Fire was huge.
Hmm.
Just the pizza movies. I had that on repeat, like just pretty much like every other kid back in the day that
Yeah.
liked Lego Star Wars. But yeah, but I was never really into Bionicle as a kid, and it was all my younger brother. He was super into them,
Interesting.
would constantly get those, and I thought they were cool, but I was a Star Wars head, so all my allowance was going to Lego Star Wars and
Hmm.
stuff, while his was going to Bionicle. So I raided the storage closet in the basement, and I asked my brother, I'm like, hey man, like, can I just take your Bionicles? He's like, yeah, go for it. And I just would go through and I'm like, oh, I love this one, and this figure's awesome. And
And so when did you go through a storage closet?
oh, back when I started my YouTube channel up again, so in
Okay.
2022.
Okay.
Um,
So
but
recently.
yeah, so we had everything in storage bins in a dark closet. So everything is like super pristine, no cracks or anything on like
Wow.
any of our figures and stuff. So we were really fortunate in that sense to like, just have everything preserved, pretty well. So yeah, I mean, and then with this resurgence of Bionicle, I feel, especially with you, Caleb, and even Duck Bricks, I mean, Duck Bricks, of course, like just his collection is
Hmm.
insane. But I watched his 9-hour
Oh
lore
yeah.
video. Um, I got to watch it again because there's so much information in
Oh
there.
yeah.
So,
Yeah, I was just
uh,
saying earlier that I watched it through once, and then I
mhm,
just last night finished the second watch through, and
yeah,
then when I'm working on my little Bionicle project, I was telling Caleb like the joke is gonna be how long the project takes is I'm gonna use the metric of how many times I watched through the lore video is how long it took me
yeah.
to complete the project.
Oh,
So,
gee. Yeah.
oh man.
I saw your some of your pictures on your story of like, working on the project, and I'm excited for it. It looks really cool.
Yeah, it's gonna take it's gonna take forever. I'm hoping by Brick World I can have a completed first edition or first comic run of it. So the hope
Nice.
is to get that one done by
Hmm.
Brick World,
Yeah.
which I know by May I'll be able to go kind of full bore into it. And
Hmm.
I think the trick is going to be figuring out how to do it, and then hopefully the next one each time I can just get faster and faster at it and better at it. But man,
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
first one, it's like going into a whole new realm of video making that I've kind
Mhm.
of dabbled in before, but not truly like gone head first and trying to make like a full on visualization of comics. So I'm still trying to
Yeah.
decide how far do I want to take it, or do I
Mhm.
want to keep it like the pages are the pages, or do I want to try and animate stuff on the pages if I can even animate it, or to what
Yeah.
extent. So it's going to be fun once I get into the actual stage of putting pictures into Final Cut Pro, into the editing software, and
Mhm.
actually moving them around. I think that's going to be the really, really fun part. So
Yeah, for
I'm pretty
sure.
excited about that.
Yeah, that's
Um,
exciting. That's awesome.
so what kind of Bionicle stuff have you been working on since you kind of found it or refound it in 2022?
Mainly just rebuilding some of the old sets and figures. I have some here that I've like are kind of my favorite that at
Mm-hmm.
least my brother had. I can pull some out
Yeah.
eventually and show some off. I mean, they're nothing crazy, but
Mm-hmm.
it's just I just remember him getting it and just being so nostalgic. We would have like battles and stuff like that because they were all like, the little balls that you could fire off
Oh
and
yeah.
stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, I did do. one night I was just like super bored, and I'm like, I need something to do. So I started like a custom Bionicle figure. Let me see if I can like
Yeah, I can full
turn
screen
this
you.
light.
Yeah, no
Focus.
that. So I know you sent me that picture with the Ernock
Hmm.
head, and it's like, whew, I
I
need that.
can't. It's
The
all
focusing.
like black and stuff like
Yeah.
that. Don't focus on my face camera. Come on. But yeah, um, he's pretty cool. I mean, the contracts is super.
Yeah, no, that thing
Uh,
is built.
I remember watching, I forget his name. Maybe you can help me out. He's just been like revamping all the
Is
old
it
Bionicles.
Brandon Builds
I think it is.
on
Yeah, that
Twitter?
sounds about
I
right.
guess Twitter and Instagram.
Okay. Yeah. Saw a bunch of his work and I'm just like, oh, I want to try that. So, um, tried it out. It's all right. I mean, it's so much more complicated than I initially anticipated because I'm used to working with bricks, and
Yeah.
now we're going into like Technic and Bionicle, and it's like a whole new world. It's pretty fun to play around with for sure.
Yeah, I've only created one. I don't a mock, I guess, kind of just
Hmm.
piecing together stuff from different sets. A remake of Lua or Liwa, and so um, it's nothing too special. But because initially I was trying to make some big like Titan build, and
Hmm.
it's not smart to try and go big for your first ever. When I wouldn't even consider myself a mock builder. I
Hmm.
don't know. I don't have that kind of mindset to visualize or to like I can visualize it, but then actually figuring out take this piece, put this piece together, this ball socket here, this joint here, and kind of getting to that point is just it's lost on me for now, unfortunately. But kind of stepping back and saying, all right, let's just try to do a Toa revamp that's a little more reasonable for me. And with the one with the Ernock kind of, I don't know if you'd call him Ernock or just the Paraka revamp. Like that thing
Yeah,
is, I would call that a Titan. Like that's a beefy build, which looks
awesome. Thank you.
awesome. So I
Yeah,
don't know. Are you
I'm
planning to make like I don't know if have you seen Mitch builds on
yes.
YouTube? His stuff
Hmm.
is
Yeah.
awesome. I don't know. Are you
Oh my
planning to try
gosh.
and do something like that?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I'll get to his level, but I could certainly try to at least. But yeah, I would love to do a video on it and stuff like that. I definitely want to perfect it,
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah,
Um, and then go from there. I don't know if I'm loving the all black just because it's so hard to get on
mm,
camera.
yeah.
But I don't know. We'll see. Maybe I'll find a better way of, you know, uh, videoing it so everybody
Yeah.
can see all the details and stuff like that. But yeah.
Yeah, actually, I didn't know that you kind of got into Bionicle pretty recently. So has seeming it sounds like the toy itself kind of hooked you in just because of the masks, or what kind of I guess what kind of hooked you into getting back into it, I guess.
I guess just figuring out there's so much more lore to it
Mm,
than I thought there was. I mean, my brother has the books, he has the movies, like
yeah.
magazines, board games, he had everything. And I thought it was just like, just clever marketing and stuff like
Yeah.
that. But it just goes so much deeper. And then after listening to Duck Break's video, I was just like, wow, this is really cool. This is something you can get lost in.
Mhm.
You don't necessarily need to collect everything, but like, you can just talk about it and like kind of create your own stories with it and all that stuff. So there's enough content in there, like Star Wars, it's
Mhm.
so expansive, that you can just add to it and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So,
And even with the story and how deep the lore is, and since you're comparing it to Star Wars,
mhm.
I I was thinking about it and just listening through the 9-hour lore video, I feel like with that being the main story, I don't even know if you followed the main story of Star Wars, so episode 1 through what, if you want to call it episode 1 through 9, I don't even know if that would take 9 hours to explain.
Not really.
So to me
Yeah,
it's kind of
I wouldn't say.
wild that
Yeah.
the prime story of Bionicle and kind
Hmm.
of going through it quick-ish
Hmm.
takes 9 hours, and like
Hmm.
it's a presumably a story about just a bunch of toys,
Hmm.
robot toys, kind of doing their thing. So
Yeah.
even that in of itself to me is just absolutely wild
Yeah.
to think about how deep they made this story. And
Yeah.
I mean, I imagine you probably have some thoughts about if Bionicle came back and kind of what it would take, or what would reignite you on it, as opposed to just because I don't know if you have you looked at G2 at all and kind of seen how those have delved out.
G2. Can you remind me what that
Yeah,
is?
so G2 is the Bionicles that released in 2015 and 16 as part of the CCBS construction building. So you remember when Star Wars did like the buildable Jango Fett, Kenobi, Grievous, and they used those different ball socket. I don't know. Did you ever buy any of those back in like 14
No.
through 16?
I
Yeah, me
looked
either.
at them and I was like, that's cool and all, but like it just didn't,
Yeah.
fit the aesthetic, I guess, of bricks and stuff.
I regret that I never got the General Grievous version
Yeah.
because I saw it for the first time in person at Caleb's house, and it was so much bigger than I expected. And I think it was only $35. And to get like this huge figure for
Mhm.
$35, it would have changed my mind 100%
Yeah.
if I had actually seen it
Right.
in a store, which I guess is partially why they have those displays.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm looking at these now and I'm recalling a memory back. I don't know how I found out about it, but this was 2016, you said?
20 and Squidman said 2015 to 2018.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. So I remember seeing this and I went to my brother. I'm like, hey, they're remaking Bionicle. What do you think? And he's like, nah, like, it doesn't hit the same, it's too different. I guess was his words. It didn't even feel remotely like nostalgic at all.
Mm,
It just felt like, you know, just a total spin-off and stuff like that. Not to say they look bad, but it's just like if you're gonna call it Bionicle,
mm-hmm.
at least with Hero Factory, it was like something different,
Yeah,
something new.
absolutely.
But yeah, I'm looking at them now and they don't look bad. It's just I wouldn't personally classify it as
Mm-hmm.
Bionic.
Yeah, so I would say, so I'm looking at a couple that I own. Actually, I own all of the Uniters and their companions and then the Masters. And so I didn't plan to buy any, but then I found this insanely big Bionicle lot in my area. And basically, just to kind of get the good group deal to buy
Mm,
take them all off his hands kind of thing, I just included the G2 lot in it. So like, okay, whatever. It's a good
mhm,
price for all the ones that I'm getting. Who cares if I have them? Um,
mhm,
and so I built those first just because I kind of wanted to get them out of the way. And I do have to say that the building experience was pretty enjoyable once you kind of get past that hump of this isn't G1. These
mhm.
aren't classic Bionicle type pieces. This is
Yeah.
construction where you're kind of building the frame and then putting these armor pieces basically on the frame. Once you get
Mhm.
past that
Yeah.
point, it's like they're very they're cool looking, and then
Mhm.
especially the Uniters. So the bigger Toa have their companion that kind of hooks onto its back, and then it
Yes.
acts as additional armor onto it, which is just it makes them look so much cooler with their
Mhm.
companions. So I wish I would have, and I don't even remember if you were you still in your dark ages in like 2015 to
Yeah.
17 to 16?
Yeah. I think my dark age was 2012 till 2022. So it was like pretty much 10 years on the dot.
Wow. Yeah, for me it was, let's see, 20, cuz and for me it wasn't even the fact that I was like, "Oh, Lego's not cool." It's more of like I just didn't have money to spend on
Yeah. Yeah.
on Lego
Yeah.
because I was like, I'm in high school.
Mhm.
I honestly I couldn't even tell you what I bought with. It was basically you got money for birthday for me, for our family. You got money
Mhm.
for birthday and you got money for Christmas. And
Mhm.
those were your two times to kind of get the
Yeah.
things you wanted to get. And unfortunately, I couldn't tell you what I bought. It wasn't Lego, I know that. But yeah, it
Yeah.
was like 2008 or 9, I think I stopped. And then I got back into it my senior year of college. So 2016.
Mm.
So I guess that's not a horrible, not the crazy long dark
Oh, not
period.
at all.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
then the Bionicle dark period was I purchased a bunch of sets in 2004 through 6.
Hmm.
And then 2006 was when, from my point of view, when Lego Star Wars kind of started to really kick it back up again, getting
Oh
those
yeah.
cool
Hmm.
clone battle packs, the Boba Fett Slave 1, the
Hmm.
Jabba's Barge, the huge one, which it's kind of buried back there under the Y wing, but it's I couldn't spend money on both, obviously, so I had to pick one, and I kind of just jumped back into Lego Star Wars at that point. So it was like 2007 until, or 2006 until, well, last year, so 2023. And
Hmm.
then, man, I went crazy. I probably spent like, I don't know, like $1,500 in the last year on Bionicle stuff, which I guess to some
Gosh.
collectors, that's like, what? That's it? That's all you spent?
Yeah.
But I don't know, to go from like zero back to up to that much. And
Yeah.
then, yeah, I mean, like you said, getting into the lore, getting into the story, it's really entirely changed the landscape of
Hmm.
how I see the toy. And it's just crazy to think of how dense it really is.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, um, I think during my dark ages, I was like, all right, I want to be a filmmaker. I'm gonna put all my money into film stuff. And
Oh,
of
okay.
course, that's expensive. And
Oh,
then
yeah.
Lego wasn't expensive per se back then, but it's just like that was another cost and stuff like that. And even like nowadays, like when I got back into Lego, like I was just like you, where I'm like trying to catch up, make up for lost time. Um, getting sets that missed out on or
Mm,
couldn't as a kid or something like that. And you look back and you're like, oh geez, that's a lot of money. Maybe I should cut back a little bit. So
yeah.
I'm definitely at that point now to where I'm like, I see all these new sets coming out and I'm just like, I don't need those.
Hmm.
Like, I'd rather put that money towards bricks or something else, because I feel like that would add more value to like my
Hmm.
enjoyment, but also like the channel. So,
Yeah. No, absolutely. And I would agree with you in the fact that when was the last, I'm trying to think the last retail Lego set that I bought. I think it was during that wave of when the clone or when the Republic fighter tanks were 50% off. Do you remember
mm,
that
yeah.
that bit? What was it? Beginning of the year, I think, or end of last year.
Hmm.
I think that was the last time I bought retail Lego, and I haven't bought retail Lego since. Yeah, okay, except the CMF 25s. I bought a couple of those.
Oh, there
But
you go.
besides that, like it's been all Bionicle, all this old stuff that,
Yeah.
like you said, missing out on. It brings me more enjoyment to buy this stuff than to buy new Lego sets. So
Hmm.
I'm like, it's only gonna go up. I don't see a world when
Hmm.
honestly any Lego set gets cheaper, but it's kind of crazy how Bionicle is really I don't. So that's something that is interesting to me, and you mentioned it as well earlier. How Bionicle has kind of stepped back into a limelight or a spotlight of sorts. And you said you restarted your channel in 2022. Were you still watching YouTube on and off, kind of throughout the late teens until the early 2020s?
Yeah, I was definitely watching a lot of YouTube. Maybe not uh like Lego channels or
Okay.
anything like that. I mean, I was always checking in with David, seeing what
Yeah.
he was doing,
Yeah.
and I was following along with Mandalore and Kashyyyk and all that stuff. And I just looked at that and I'm just like, that is so cool. Like, I'm so
Mm-hmm.
glad he kept up with it and look at where he's at now and stuff like that. And that was also kind of like the drive to get back into it too, is like seeing these resurgence of just like Lego fans and not being ashamed of
Mm-hmm.
being a fan of Lego as an adult, and seeing what these everyone's creating is just mind-boggling. It's like, how could you think of that? Or like,
Yeah.
how did you get this many parts for this? Um, So it was kind of inspiring to the point of like, I want to do that. Like, that's something I've always wanted to do as a kid. I can make that a reality now as an adult. And but yeah, definitely kept up with YouTube a little bit. And then when I started uploading again, it was just the hunt for uh, just new content creators because I was out of the loop for
Yeah.
10 years. Like everyone I knew was basically gone. So I think I started out trying to find live streams,
Ah.
and of course I found ACOB, and I think there weren't too many people streaming at least Lego Star Wars stuff, and I found Tech, if you know who that is.
I don't really know. I can probably count on one hand the number of Lego YouTubers that I knew like prior to getting in and actually talking to people.
Hmm, gotcha. Yeah, it's Planet Tech. That's
Okay. Yep.
the channel. Great guy. That's where I met Scott for the first time.
Oh, nice.
And I was just like, hey guys, like, I make videos too. And Scott's like, oh, word? Cool. Let me
Yeah.
hop over, stop by for a stream. And he's just been, an amazing supporter ever since. And now a good friend. So, yeah, him and, uh, oh, what is it? Him and Bacon. Yeah,
Oh,
have been great. But yeah, so that's kind of why I started streaming a lot
mm.
more. I haven't been recently, so bad on me. But there aren't a lot of streams for Lego, and I feel like that's just like a missed opportunity for a lot of creators. Is like not only just engaging with the audience, but just like getting new viewership and stuff like that.
So when you say stream, do you primarily mean just like this, like having a low key podcast, or do you mean
Yeah,
like building streams, or just anything Lego streaming?
just anything related to Lego, like us just talking about it, everybody can kind of like get involved or listen passively, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then same with like live building streams, like if it's not just a set, it could be just like a mock somebody's
Yeah.
working on, and
Yeah.
people love being the behind the scenes with that.
Oh yeah.
I know Coconut,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of streams and stuff of just building whatever massive mock he's working on. Right now is I guess Mike and it's just really cool to see, just like behind the scenes, real time, like the
The
process and stuff like
progress.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And do you learn a lot from watching those for your own mocks?
Yeah, because I'm able to ask questions, which
Yeah.
is great. Like, hey, why are you doing this? Or,
Mm-hmm.
what are you doing now? Seeing how they construct rock work and all that stuff. So
We had someone mention. I imagine it's a little bit of a troll. They said, "What's is Bionicle?" So I imagine someone in the chat can explain to them what Bionicle is, or you could just do a quick little Google search.
it's amazing.
I think it
That's all you
might.
need.
It'll change
It's
your
all.
life. That's all you need to know. That's all you need to know.
You will go down a rabbit hole and you'll love every second of it.
I wasn't gonna say this individual's name because it's one of those names where if you say it, if you just say it at all, it says something else. So
Yeah.
that might be my first. That might be my first person like that to hop in the chat. So
That's
happy to
why
have you here, troll or not, whatever. So, so kind of with being in the space at least for a while,
Hmm.
you'll have a lot larger purview than I have of has Bionicle really like quote unquote come back into the space, or was it that group kind of was always there making their stuff and now it's just kind of getting more visibility, or is it truly like new people making content? Like, what are you seeing
Yeah.
from that point
I
of view?
never thought that the Bionicle community had died
Mm-hmm.
or, gone, dark or anything like that. I definitely feel like the limelight has shifted back onto Bionicle. and that community and stuff like that, which is great. I don't know if everybody's like super happy with it now that it's
Hmm.
becoming popular again. I know everybody loves to have their like niche when it within a niche and stuff like that. But yeah, definitely becoming a lot more popular for sure. I mean, like just the prices on Bionicles have skyrocketed in the past like year or two. Um, but I remember looking through all my old stuff and all of my masks and everything and
Hmm.
doing a price check on Bricklink and it's like, they're not worth anything. And now I look and it's just like, okay, they're worth a little bit more. So that's like a sign of, there's demand out there now, which is cool. So I definitely think people are again finding all this lore and like
Yeah.
books, magazines, comics, movies, all that stuff, and
Hmm.
they're just like, wow, there's a lot more to this. um and especially right now with all the remakes and sequels going on and stuff like that, it's nice to find something that
Yeah.
is truly original, like the
Hmm.
story of Bionicle and like that whole like thing is just super unique. And I can't think of any comparisons.
I know,
If
right? And even to the extent of how far or how crazy Lego went with everything. Like,
hmm
I mean, even just having, and I know they do it with Ninjago, of course, with the books and the comics and
hmm
just kind of all that stuff. But and maybe I'm sure you've probably seen all this, like the toothbrushes, the watches, the pens, the the card games, like they and Caleb and Harrison, we've kind of been getting into the card game a little bit.
Talking to Caleb
So
about.
it's kind of like a let's say a TCG, so a trade card trader game, whatever the
Trading
acronym
card
is.
game.
Yeah. So you
Yeah.
can trade cards, but then you can also play the game, and it's kind of
hmm
like you bring your deck to the thing, and if you have a better deck, you can probably win better and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So it's really cool to get into that specifically, just because I don't know. Did you collect sports cards as a kid when you were younger?
Oh my gosh, yeah. When I was going through my baseball
Oh
phase,
yeah.
league, it was all baseball cards. And then, oh man, Yu-Gi-Oh cards for a little bit,
Okay.
but that was quickly like like taken away
Mm-hmm.
because I don't know that if you remember that whole conspiracy debacle thing back in the day, just like just anti-Christian stuff
Yeah.
and all that. So my mom was like, I don't know about that.
Yeah.
So she's like, you can have some Pokemon cards. That's a little
Yeah.
better. So yeah, then it
Little
was Pokemon,
animals.
and then I did Magic for a while. Magic the Gathering was a lot of fun.
Oh, nice.
Um, but yeah, so I mean, I have a bunch of Star Wars trading cards.
Yeah.
I even have the Star Wars Tops app for the
Oh
trading
shoot.
cards, and
So
I'm like
are they
into
like
that.
live action Star Wars trading cards or the kind of art as opposed to the Lego Star Wars trading cards?
Yeah, I mean, it's everything. They'll have like fan art on there. They'll have
Oh, nice.
screenshots from, movies. They'll have custom art pieces, characters,
Yeah.
uh, and all that stuff. And some of those cards are worth a pretty good
Hmm.
amount of money, which is really weird and interesting because it's a digital card. It's nothing
Oh,
physical.
okay.
Yeah. So, but still really cool. And you don't have to pay money. You
Oh,
can if you
nice.
want to,
Yeah.
but like, you get daily free credits that you can purchase packs with and stuff like that.
Hmm.
So that scratches my itch. So
Yeah.
I'm not
So
like
you don't have to
buying anything.
drop money into it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. So these ones, and I'll
Oh,
see it
that
so the
looks so
chat can
cool.
see if it'll focus there. And are you able to see it? I know I'm using a different camera that you can see versus the stream. So it's like got all the different Kanohi masks, and basically like the Toa have to do in real life. They gotta
Mm.
find all the or in real life. I can't believe I just said real life. In the story, they have to collect all the masks to get the one great mask. Yada yada yada. So you have to
Mhm.
move around the board, and you have to do these different missions and challenges in order to actually collect the mask. So it's kind of fun. Caleb, Harry, and I, we're gonna play it at Brick World Chicago at some
Yeah,
point. So I
that's
think it's gonna
awesome.
be fun.
I
I'm
was
looking forward
talking
to
to
it.
him about it. He's like, "You should get a few packs," and I'm just like, "I don't know if I want to go in that rabbit hole." Like, it sounds so fun.
Speak here. Let me show you a rabbit hole, which is part of the $1,500 that I
Oh
dropped.
gosh. Oh geez, it's gonna be something crazy. What's up, chat? I see Squid Man, Lou, Kathleen. How are you? Oh, that's a
And
all right.
unfortunately, or for better or for worse, these aren't even all of them actually. But I've got all these. These were just from Harry. He picked them up at his BAM
Oh
and then
wow,
shipped them to me. So I got these, and then these were from an online seller. So I've got like all these. So I'm
mint.
like, it's just partially. It was partially because yeah, they're trading cards,
Mhm.
but then partially it's just something about having a sealed Bionicle something.
Yeah,
Having a sealed Bionicle thing is just awesome to have.
yeah,
So,
for
and then
sure.
the open cards, they were pretty cheap on eBay. So I have a handful of the open ones to actually play with, so I don't have to actually open these.
Oh good.
So it kind of I'm able to play the game, but also keep a bunch sealed, and
Yeah,
very very grateful for that. But
here you go.
speaking of Brick World Chicago, we're getting close. What
Uh
are we
huh.
pushing? 2 months
Oh
until
yeah.
that.
Is it that close? I feel yeah. It must be. Yeah.
It's yeah,
I'm
because
so
we've
excited.
got 4/6, and it's gonna be 6/12 or so, June 12th.
Hmm.
So we're almost on the doorstep of 60 days,
Yeah.
which
Oh
is
man.
wild.
I just got my plane ticket the other day, and I'm like, now I'm 100% like
There's
I'm
no
covered.
no
I'm good.
backing out.
Yeah, I got transportation, hotel, everything. I just need to make some mocks or something like that.
I
So
was gonna ask you if what your plan is, if you're gonna show anything or just kind of go to hang out with everyone, or what are
yeah,
you looking to get out of it?
mainly just meet everybody, just mingle, hang out and have a
First
good
time?
time.
This is your first time?
First time. Mhm,
First
yeah,
time.
yeah. So
Awesome.
honestly, first time going to a Lego convention. I've been to Brickfest Live around here like twice, and
The
it has
Superior Convention.
yeah, like a real convention to put it bluntly. But Brickfest Live is good for kids and stuff like that. But it honestly, Brickfest Live is like you go for like 30 minutes and you're good.
Yeah.
Um,
Unless it sounds like it's more geared towards kids
yeah,
who are
mhm.
just like, and it's awesome to be a
Hands
kid
on.
and be like inspired by everything you see.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah,
It's definitely not an adult place for sure. So that's why I feel like I didn't really enjoy it because there was no vendors, there was overpriced
yeah,
Lego sets.
yeah.
I did get to meet he was on season one of Brickmasters. Him and his dad were from my hometown.
Oh, sweet.
So it was really cool to meet him. Just like, hey, Bethlehem, what's up? And he's like, no way. And I'm like, dude, I always wanted to come in for a haircut, but I moved out here. And he's
Yeah.
like, let me get your Instagram and stuff like that. So he was a really cool guy. But yeah, um, I loved him and his dad on the show. They were just so wholesome and kind, and sad to see him go early. But
Mhm.
but yes, back to your question. First time, really just looking to mingle. I was talking to Kennedy, True Squadron, and he got a table. He's doing this massive mock on Utapau, and I'm
Ooh.
just like, hey, like I'm going. Do you want me to build anything for it? And he's like, yeah, how about you build this ship? And I'm like, I can totally do that. So I won't say it yet because I don't want to spoil it. But yeah, and then maybe I'll bring my Republic Ion cannon, but I don't want to take away space from his table or anything like that. So
Yeah.
I just got to clarify with him. But definitely bring in one build. And
Nice.
I don't know. I may want to build a mech just to kind of I don't know. on the opposing side of Caleb's mechs because he said he's bringing some mechs, and I'm
Is
like,
he? Oh, nice.
yeah, I'm like, you know what? I kind of just want to build something too, just to, so
You
they could
could
like face
you could
off.
have it, put it on his table, and see if anyone can tell
Oh,
that
they'll
it's not a
definitely
Firebird mech.
yeah, because they'll see these amazing, beautiful mechs, and they'll see this
Oh,
like barely built
I
together.
mean, you could always bring that Paraka Titan
Oh
that you
yeah, that's
built.
true.
That thing's pretty
Yeah,
slick and looks like it's just about maybe has some fine tuning and fine touches
yeah, I
to
gotta
put
work
on
on the
it.
hands. Yeah, just gotta fix the hands at this point, and then make a weapon or something like that. But yeah, I have a mech idea, and then I definitely want to finish that up. But I want to keep the suitcase fairly empty for,
Yeah.
all the stuff I bring back.
So I will
Um,
say, I know you said there were overpriced sets at Brickfest
mm,
live. The vendors typically also have very overpriced. I would say high end of like Bricklink or Brick Economy
mhm,
sets because they know, and even so for retail, they'll have like a Darth Vader's helmet, which is typically what 70 or so, for
mm,
instance, but they'll have it there for 90 or something like that.
gotcha.
So they definitely grab the convenience and convention
Yeah.
hype of like, oh, I'm
Mhm.
here and I should buy something. So, oh, yeah, I'll get that one. But then Cooper brings up a good point. Hopefully, the yard sale has the deals. On Sunday, I imagine you've heard of the yard sale. I
Mhm.
didn't go to it last year because I was only there for one day, but they have a yard sale on, I believe it's Sunday.
The
And
last step.
it's, yeah, I've heard
Okay.
it's a completely mad dash.
That's
So
really good to know because when I got my plane ticket, I was just like, okay, I gotta fly out late. What's the latest I can fly out? And it was 9 p.m. And I'm like,
that's late.
cool.
Yeah. But hey, no,
So,
you'll
hey,
have
I,
plenty of time.
yeah, I'll probably hang out in the airport for a few hours, but hey, that's fine. So,
Yeah,
um,
absolutely.
but yeah, and also I need to leave some room because I'm given a bunch of stuff. I know you and Caleb, I have some comics for you guys.
Yes. Looking forward to that.
I think I'm gonna give Ostif a turbo tank. It's
Ooh.
gonna be his birthday there, so I want to make sure
Oh,
it's
sick.
extra special. So his, I guess, White Whale is the Clone Wars turbo tank, and I have two of them, and I don't need two, so he can
That's
have the other one.
awesome. Dude, he's going to be like, does he know that's coming? Or is it going to
Yeah,
be kind of
yeah.
a surprise? Okay, he knows.
He's gonna
He's
try
going to
and pay
be
me for it, but I'm just gonna be like, nah, man. Like,
birthday.
I hope he's not watching this, but I'm not gonna take your
He's
money.
probably at work. He's either at work right now
Yeah,
or he's
he's been
sleeping. I
working
think he's
hard.
at work. Yeah.
Yeah, but I said, hey, if you can find me a tuck, then we're good. So I missed out on the tuck for GCC. I was so upset.
Oh,
I was defeated. It sold out in 30 seconds.
holy cow.
Yeah,
How
so
many units did they put up?
I don't know. It wasn't a lot though, from what I heard. Again, I'm not like in the Discord or anything like that,
Yeah.
so I don't know. But from what I heard, it was limited run because I guess the helmets were super hard to find. But
Uh,
Ostif told me that they're going to do a re-release, and this time
uh,
they'll have a significant higher quality. I
nice.
think they'll just find a third-party teal helmet, which I'm totally fine with. But yeah, I kind of wish they did pre-orders
Yeah, to figure out how
on something
much.
like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I understand that's like probably a lot of work and super
Hmm.
complicated and
Oh,
stuff
yeah.
like that.
I can only imagine.
Yeah.
So for me in Brick World, I'm not going to bring anything, but I did jokingly say, I don't remember when I said it. If I go to Brick World and there's no one else that has Bionicle there, I'm literally going to drive back home because I'm like an hour and a half away.
Okay,
I'm
good.
going to drive back home and like get all my Bionicle stuff and just bring it back and just set it all up and be like, there will be Bionicle at this convention. Because last year, Brandon
Mm,
Builds was at Brick World Chicago.
mm.
And at that point, I didn't know. I don't think I saw him on Twitter yet at that point. So I just had literally no idea. And after the fact, I was like, stink. But he had some Q&A on his Instagram a couple months ago, and
Mm.
he said he's only going to Brick Fair, Virginia this year, and
Gotcha.
not Brick World Chicago. So I was kind of like, ah, darn it, I won't be able to maybe like do an interview or something like that, because I think I'm gonna try and I'm not gonna do a vlog or a video or a blog or anything like that. Like everyone, I feel like the last year we all got our vlog videos filmed, and then no one actually made a vlog from it. So either like those people, I know Brent from Brent's Bricks mentioned he might do like a 2024 hype and post the 2023 vlog as hype to 2024. So maybe I'll follow suit and do something like that. But it's kind of funny. So I'm not going to do something like that, but I definitely want to just interview as many people and builders and stuff like that as I can. So get one with like M&R, maybe Caleb, depending on what he's got out there. If there's any crazy mocks, I don't know if you know Built Bricks on Instagram.
Oh,
He's the guy he's the Lego Lorian guy. Have you seen those reels around Instagram?
I feel like I have. I think I sent one of those to you, and I'm just like, "Have you seen this guy?"
Oh,
And
did
you're
you?
like, "Yeah, I've seen him. He's insane." Yeah,
Yeah.
I
He
think I know who you're talking
also
about.
are you familiar with Bricker builds?
Yes, yeah,
So you know all the lightsaber hilts and blades they have?
yeah.
He was the one that designed all of those, like
Oh,
every single
cool.
one. So,
Nice.
and I think he's actually done all the helmets too. So he used to
Wow.
work for a Lego store as I don't know if they called him Lego Masters in the Lego stores building things. So he used to be that and then kind of left. And then now he's, of course, killing it on his Instagram and stuff.
Yeah.
But I interviewed him last year, and I had this kind of janky setup with my phone and like the microphone plugged into my phone, and I had to get it just right so it would record from the handheld mic instead of the phone. And that was like the one interview where it didn't plug in correctly. So the
No.
audio is just total garbage, and it's like basically unusable, or else I would have posted it pretty much right away. So I was kind of bummed at that. So I definitely want to make sure I get the proper interview of that
Was
this
it like
year.
crackly or?
It just sounded like I guess his audio was doable. The framing also wasn't that good, but because of course it was from a phone, so I kind of had to like look behind it, make sure it was set up decent, and then walk around it and figure it out. So his audio was reasonable, but my audio, because I was kind of like facing him the whole time, wasn't, because I figured, oh, it's in the mic. It doesn't really matter where I'm facing. But yeah,
Yeah.
that wasn't very
Are they
good.
separate audio tracks or are they all in one?
It was all in one, yeah.
Okay,
The
gotcha.
one way I figured I could fix it is like do a self-reaction type video where he
Okay.
would say something and then I'd be like, and then I said this, and this, and then he says, and then kind of like,
It's a lot of work.
but yeah, it would. Unfortunately, I haven't done that yet.
If the reason I'm asking is if you're willing to send it to me, I can give it a go, try and fix it in Audition. I've salvaged a couple interviews from like my podcast days back in the day, from when I was like trying to record from my phone and all that stuff. So I can give it a go if you want.
Yeah,
No promises,
I'll
but
see it, and I think also partially because the framing just was bad.
yeah.
It might not. I think you could see like half of my head and kind of like
Uh,
a little bit of my shoulder, just because it was just the worst setup in the world. I literally, so I don't, the Focusrite recording interfaces. I had that hooked up to, so basically what that like 2.5 foot, 3 foot cord was then plugged into my phone. So I literally had to hold the Focusrite close enough to the phone stand, and I was using one of those janky selfie light tripods, so it wasn't even it wasn't even a sturdy tripod, and I had to hold that close enough so it wouldn't teeter it, and then hold the mic, and then I had my backpack still, so it was a total mess.
Hey, maybe second trial coming your way.
Oh yeah, no, he's super chill. I can only
Nice.
imagine he'll And I would think he'll bring the Lego Lorian suit, so that'll be pretty sick
Yeah, right.
to see that. But
Yeah.
now, so what all have you seen of Brick World? I guess from online videos and YouTube and stuff like that. So do you have any expectations going into this?
I expect to see a lot of people.
Yes.
And
Those expectations will be met.
yeah. Um, I'm a bit awkward. Especially when it comes to first interactions because I feel like they're very important and stuff like that. So uh, it's it's kind of like me just trying to get out of my comfort zone, and just kind of work up the nerve just to like go talk to somebody and like just introduce myself or say hi or something like that because
Mm-hmm.
um, especially like just talking to people in the community and stuff like that. I'm figuring out like people know who I am, and I
Mm-hmm.
just didn't anticipate that. Like when I first talked to Caleb, I was like so nervous. I'm just like, hey, like, do you want to go? Do you want to come on my podcast? And he's like, dude, I love your videos. Yeah, of course. And I'm just
Caleb,
like,
I can literally picture him saying that in my mind. I'm
yeah.
like,
And I'm
yeah,
just like, oh, well, that was a lot easier than I
yeah.
thought. Yeah. So, yeah, same with Coconut too. I'm just like, you know, you want to come on the podcast? He's like, I'd love to. Yeah. So, um, which reminds me, we got now I have to have you on my
Oh,
podcast too.
absolutely.
You know, so I want to get back into that. I just did one with Tiger Builds, and that was so much fun, and I just missed doing that and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, yeah, definitely want to meet a lot of people, and then also just like see everybody's builds, and because everybody works so hard on these builds, and transporting is just a nightmare. So just to see it in person is just like,
Yeah.
a great privilege and stuff like that. So yeah. Um, but yeah, just I guess mainly just meet everybody.
Yeah, and that's kind of how I want to do it. And are you going Wednesday through Sunday?
Yeah.
So
Uh-huh.
you're gonna get
Yep.
in Wednesday morning
Yeah,
and
I
then go
think
through
I
Sunday.
land at 3:30, because I can't check in technically into the
Yeah.
hotel until 3. So I was just like, like, what's really going on during the day there? Maybe I'm wrong. But
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the evening is going to be a lot more poppin',
Oh yeah.
stuff like that. So
Yeah. I just and real quick, thanks. And I think your name is Korami. Thanks for stopping by in the chat. Sounds like you're Kathleen's friend, which is awesome to have you in the chat here today. Thanks for stopping by. Okay. Korami is the person that got Kathleen into Bionicle in the first place. That's really
nice.
cool. That's awesome. Well,
So
that's
we
how you
like
know
robots, which is
someone.
great.
Yeah, that's how you know someone's like probably the best person in the world if they're the person that
Yeah,
got you
right.
into Bionicle. Like, dude,
Absolutely.
automatic 10 out of 10 friend there.
That's a keeper right there. Good friend.
So yeah, when I'm in kind of similar fashion, I'm gonna get there Wednesday. I have my hotel booked, which I'm not staying. I don't know. Are you staying on site?
Yeah, yeah. Thankfully, Kennedy was like, I freaked out and just got the hotels already, and I'm just like, okay, like cool. So, yeah, he was like right on, I think within like 2 hours of
Wow.
it being
Yeah.
available, he was on it. So very grateful for him. So yes, on site for sure.
Nice. And yeah, I do have a bunch of hotel points just from work traveling, and so
There
I'll
you
be
go.
staying at one of the hotels in the area. It's like 4 minutes away, so
Oh,
I'm
perfect.
not too concerned about being too tired to go back or whatever. So, and
Yeah,
I
it's
really
only.
don't even know what to expect those first couple nights. I just know that there's going to be very minimal sleeping, a whole
Yeah.
lot of just
So
probably not going to say no to anything unless I'm
no.
already like doing something that I said yes to,
Hmm.
and then just kind of just going with the flow of
Yeah.
whatever happens, dude.
Yeah,
Whatever
exactly.
happens, happens.
Yeah, I'm not really going anything in with any high expectations or anything like that. Just gonna go and treat it honestly like a vacation.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, just hang out. Like, hey, if one night I'm just chilling in the hotel room, like I'm happy. I'm
Yeah.
happy as a clam. So yeah, right there with you. But nice, you got to use hotel points, so that saves you know from a hole burning
Yeah,
in your
I think it's what it
mouth.
was like 150 bucks a night. So however many.
Okay.
Let's see, what, like 4 nights. So yeah, it's at least first night. I figured just use those points because they expire and
Yeah.
all that jazz. So wanna make sure I'm using those.
Heck yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's why I waited so long to get my flight is because I was doing a lot of traveling for work, so it's just raking in the points.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I was able to
Oh
get it for
yeah.
free, thank goodness.
Oh wow.
Flights are crazy nowadays.
Yeah, we're
Like,
me and my wife are going to Florida at the end of the month, and we're trying out driving. And
okay.
so it's going to be about 18-hour drive, and we're going to do it over 2 days, just
Nice.
because everyone's told me do not do it. Do not do it in one day.
Yeah,
It's not worth traveling that long in one day.
exactly. Even
You'll
if
be
you are
miserable.
switching off. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's rough. I did I drove from Pennsylvania to Colorado when I moved out here. Um I think it was 24 hours, but we split it up over a week
Oh
and it
wow.
was still exhausting.
Wow.
So we really took our time coming out here, made a lot of pit stops along the way. But it was still like really rough.
Mm.
Even like the short, like just 4 hour drives, it's just like driving and driving and driving. So
Yeah.
yeah, definitely split it up for sure.
Yeah,
But
I've done 11 hours in one go. My brother lives out in the Philly area. So going from the Midwest or kind of
mhm,
like the Great Lakes region to the Philly area was quite the haul. And I don't know
yeah,
what it is, just any sort of traveling and even flying in a plane for me. It's like something about, I don't know if it's just sitting in one spot for a while or just, you can't do anything. I just get drained even from flying. It's
I'm
crazy.
I'm like learned, I have come to like not enjoy flying, just because um my girlfriend is like a huge United person and loves United, but every time I go on a United flight, it's just miserable for me. Just because you have to pay like an extra $100 for extra leg room, and I don't fit into the seats.
Yeah,
So, and of course, the person in front of me always puts their seat back.
every
And
time.
but I've been flying Southwest and free carry-on and luggage, and the seats are actually kind of
Really?
spaced out a little bit. Like, sign me up.
Wow.
So
I've never
I'm
heard anyone talk about South. I've always kind of seen Southwest as like the C
it's
tier.
like a low tier.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but you're
I'm
selling it.
honestly like, but also the people. I've never heard anything negative from Southwest. I mean, I could be wrong. I'm not saying they're a perfect airline or
Yeah.
anything like that, but I feel like if you're flying Southwest, everybody's kind of like on that same like level of like, yeah, we got a cheaper flight. Like we're all in this together. Like let's not make it more
Oh
miserable
yeah.
than it needs to be. Um, but yeah, United is complete opposite. And then I flew Frontier for the first time not so long ago. Never again, dude. Never again. So
Frontier. It's like
yeah.
Frontier, JetBlue,
Mm.
Allegiant is just a little sketchy to me. What
Virgin,
else?
Spirit.
Spirit. I think that's the other one.
Yeah.
It's like I'm a Delta guy, and I would say the yeah they're good. Like you're always gonna get there. That's kind of how I look at it. Is when your time is like no matter what they're gonna do everything they can to get you to where you need to be
Yeah.
as quickly as possible, even if they can't get you there, which
hmm
is nice. And
Yeah.
then I think I've only had a delay once, and it was weather related. But
hmm
other than that, I have never had a delay with Delta. It's just,
hmm
I mean, you're paying at least $200 more than
Yeah.
whatever the
Yeah.
next one is for the most part. But and then the legroom isn't, it's not like a huge issue, but it's just not the best kind of legroom
hmm
situation for Delta. But and
As long as I can get an aisle, I'm good. I can just like
true,
kind of
just put your legs out
have
in the
one
aisle.
leg out or something like that. But
So
yeah.
I don't know I don't know why I think this is, but so I used to travel a lot in like 2017 to 2018 and 19
Mhm.
through the first quarter flying like my like let's say Chicago to Atlanta back and forth like crazy.
Mhm.
Turbulence like nothing. No turbulence, minimal anything. I flew a couple times in the last year and a half, and the turbulence was just bad, like almost the
Yeah.
whole time. I don't have you been
Mhm.
flying that long that much and kind of noticed the shift that way, or is it just me? I don't know if it's just me.
It's so weird. Ever since I moved out west, I've been flying like crazy, and
Hmm.
especially with this new job. Like last month, I was in 3 different states that I had to fly to. So that's a lot for me
Yeah, no, that's a
personally.
lot.
So, but yeah, I mean, we've flown Southwest, and it's always been good. Flew Frontier, miserable. I mean, the turbulence was crazy. And then I flew United once, and the turbulence was also like pretty bad too. It was oh man, I went to going into Arizona was rough. But it's also like a short flight. We're not getting very high.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was really bad. That's where I was like a little concerned, like we were dropping and stuff like that.
Oh, I hate that so much. It's
Just
like
like
it's the worst when it's the drop and you're
uh-huh.
like, "Oh, we're still dropping," after you
Yeah.
realize you and you're like, "Just please no, just
Yeah.
stop."
It's
Stop.
like, oh my God, we dropped how many feet? Like
Yeah.
200?
Oh my
Yeah,
word.
not fun for sure. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, it's been crazy. I mean, even today, the wind in Colorado was bad. I mean, I drive a Corolla hatchback, and I was all over the road.
Oh
I was
no.
just getting pushed everywhere. So I'd expect they had delays there um,
Yeah,
at the airport.
we had wind once. When was it flying back from like Texas? It was either Texas or Arizona, and we were
Mhm,
on the landing strip, like I don't know, 20, well, it was probably like 50 to 100 feet above the ground, basically
mhm,
right before you touch. And I was right
mhm,
on the window seat looking out the window. Right at the last second before we touched down, the
mhm.
plane does one of these,
Oh
and then the
no.
dude recorrects and then touchdown. I was like, yo, that was crazy. Basically seeing I'm looking at the runway right now. And
That's
then
the
he
ground.
recorrects it and then lands. I
Yeah.
was like, well, I guess he's good at his job if that happened.
Yeah. Big kudos to all the pilots out there,
Oh
man.
my
Like
word.
they're insane. I've seen like planes come in sideways, and I'm just
Oh
like,
my
how
word.
how do you do that? Like as a passenger, I'd be freaking out. I'm like looking down the runway.
Yeah.
Yeah,
For
crazy.
me, at least with turbulence that's not like dropping, when it's just kind of the bumpy turbulence, I've
Yeah, yeah.
always been able to I've been able to rationalize it over the years because, like, when you're driving on a backcountry road and the car's just bumping and
Mhm.
you're obviously not freaking out because there's bumps. But then when you're in a plane and there's bumps, you freak out. At least at the first
Yeah.
times, I kind of freak out. But just kind of picturing it as like we're driving down a road and there's just some bumps in the road. That's kind of mentally helped me get over
Yeah,
some of
yeah,
the
for sure.
smaller turbulence.
Yeah, absolutely.
But
Uh, Cooper asked window, middle, or aisle.
I mean, obviously not middle. I don't know if anyone would choose middle.
I've been stuck in the middle so many times,
Oh,
and I look at the people next to me, and I'm just like, if you want to switch, cool, but like other than that, I'm sorry. Like, I'm a wide guy. I may not look like it, but
yeah.
I'm just so it's like I can't do much about it.
Hmm.
But I like the window because I can kind of press myself up against
Yeah.
it, give
Yeah.
the person in the middle room, and then same with the aisle. I can get a little more room, so I'm not like in anybody's bubble or anything
Yeah.
like that. But
Yeah, I
what
kind of
about you?
look at the unspoken rules of flying for me that I follow is if there's someone behind you, you don't put your seat back.
Mm-hmm.
I know other people certainly have different rules on that. Like I know I've heard on a different podcast that some people think like, yeah, no, you paid for that seat, you essentially pay for that recline, so use it, and it's not really the person behind you.
I mean,
It's
they're
not.
not wrong.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say they're wrong by any means, but also I'm free to say you're not cool for
Yeah,
doing
no, absolutely. And I've even I think I heard it. I don't know if I've seen anyone have that problem where how when you set your laptop up on the
that.
tray and
Yeah,
then they scoot they recline. It like
yeah,
I think I've heard one person their laptop screen cracked
yeah,
because
yeah,
the
for sure.
the the whatever guard like pressed on it and they couldn't pull their laptop out in time, which is
Yeah.
wild. But
Nightmare fuel.
yeah, I know, right? And then the next rule is you give the person in the middle both armrests.
Yeah, for
That's
sure.
kind of the other rule that I follow. If they're in the middle, they get to have both
Yeah,
armrests.
they're not having fun.
No.
So yeah, just give them both armrests because aisle seat they got one on their left, and then window seat you got the freaking window,
I
and
know. You have
that
like
armrest there too.
a full thing.
Yeah,
But
they have control of the window. Like I guess there's an unspoken rule about the window and stuff like
is
that.
there? Do you keep it
I mean,
down when it's nighttime, or
if
what's
it's
the?
in the morning and the sun's rising, if the sun's shining in, keep it down.
Yeah, yeah.
And then from what I've seen, kind of just gathered, and I try to do is like I'll have it open for when we take off and land because that's sketchy, and also people get sick really easily.
Yeah.
So like, but like once we're cruising, like then I'll put it like down or halfway
Mhm.
down, or I'll just ask. Like,
Yeah.
there's nothing wrong with just giving them a nudge and be like, "You want this open or closed?" So, I feel like everybody's always afraid to ask, but
Yeah.
honestly, it just saves you so much like, you know, time and energy if you just ask.
So
But yeah,
are you a talkative passenger member, or do
no,
you only you never initiate conversation unless it's just asking
yeah,
preferences?
I'll never initiate it. Yeah, so like I'll keep to myself. Like 9 times out of 10, people just want to,
Yeah.
stay in their bubble,
Totally.
do their own thing, and I'm totally fine with that.
Mhm.
Someone, let's say an older person like leans over and just wants to chat and have
Yeah.
like talk and stuff like that. Yeah, I'll talk with them and stuff like that. I mean, certain people like, if they're being annoying or like a lot, just extra, maybe they had too many, flight
Too many
drinks or something
beds.
like that. Like, then I'll just be like, all right, like I'm done talking, that kind of thing. But yeah, like I'll talk to whoever. Like I like talking to people, but I don't want to make anybody uncomfortable or
Yeah.
like annoy anybody or anything like that. So
Yeah.
I'll do like whenever.
Yeah, no, I feel like more often than not, very few times I've had conversations. I can probably remember like both times. But I guess one guy, I don't know if I talked to him or if I just was doing a little side snoop on his phone. I think he
Hmm.
was like some doctor or PhD for the local university, and he was flying back from some event or something. But I don't think I've had anyone crazy interesting on any of my flights. But
Yeah.
they're probably all up front anyways, you know.
Yeah, right. The first class seats. Yeah. I've never flown first class, but it looks pretty cool, that's for sure.
Well, see, they always, when it's like real first class, they go to the left because they're
Yeah.
like, you don't want the poor people walking
Yeah.
through first class. Like
Gross
that's part
people
of what
that
they pay
showered.
for. They don't
Yeah.
have to see us.
Yeah, they don't want people in sweatpants walking through their aisle. Like, what the heck?
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, no, I get that for sure. Yeah, and sometimes when I remember, honestly, I'll go to Costco and I know I'm flying. I'll just get like a pack of $5 Starbucks gift cards and just give it to the flight attendants just
Oh
because I have
shoot.
a cousin who's a flight attendant and she's like, people are so mean. And I'm just like, I'm so sorry. Like, what is something nice that people do that you really like? And she's like, honestly, Starbucks gift cards.
That's
And I'm
hilarious.
just
I've
like,
never
all
even
right,
thought. Wow, I've never thought of that. That's
yeah. And
interesting. No, it's really
I've
nice.
seen more people doing that, which is great, but it's more so like, hey, if you want to get upgraded or special treatment, do this. And I'm just like, yeah, that should be your priority. But like,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, like, sure, that too. I guess that's a perk for
Yeah.
sure. But yeah, these flight attendants go through a lot, and they don't get paid until the plane is in the air.
Oh
So
really? I didn't know
I'm
that.
that,
I think I heard that once or twice. But yeah.
yeah.
Wow.
So if everybody's taking a long time to load or board or whatever, they're not getting paid for that. Same to clean up after everybody. So
Wow. That's
just
kind of wild.
keep that in mind. If you leave a bottle or something like that,
Yeah.
just
No.
these
Anything you brought with you, you take with you, 100%.
exactly. Yeah,
Every
they come
time.
around with the
It's
trash
common
bag.
decency. Just yeah.
But yeah.
You just gotta do the bare minimum.
I do have these some of these sets here that
Oh yeah. No, absolutely.
so I got this guy.
Oh,
Um
you've got Umbra.
Yeah, I'm just missing his tires. That's it. Everything else I got.
Well, hey, you're not
Or
missing much because I don't know who designed those and what they were thinking, but man, those like
so many little parts.
roller skates.
Yeah.
Here,
And
I'll
then
send
this
them to
one's
you.
my favorite. Just the big old turret with the little guy
Oh
on
yeah,
it.
Mazika.
All right, that's the name. Yeah. This guy's a lot of fun. This is what me and my brother like played with when we were kids. Like just had battles and stuff like that. So he was able to turn around. You could fire all the little balls out and stuff like that. So
Yeah, no,
he
that
was
thing
really
is
cool.
sick. I saw one actually brand new on Facebook Marketplace for like 175. It wasn't bad,
I say
honestly.
worth it. That thing's huge. It's massive.
I might have to reconsider. I think it was kind of far though. See,
I got
that's part of what I'm excited to for going to Brick World Chicago
you.
is being in Chicago where all the Facebook Marketplace deals are. Like I'm gonna be
Yeah.
bringing some fat stacks, not even for Brick World Chicago, just like, oh, this thing popped up on Facebook Marketplace. It's like 40 minutes away. I'm going because it's normally an hour and 40 minutes away or pushing 2 hours away. So
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to that kind of stuff. And
Nice. There you go.
yeah, it was kind of funny. Earlier, you mentioned when you're talking to someone, another content creator that you respect, and they say, "Oh yeah, I've seen your stuff."
Mhm.
That happened to me too a couple times at Brick World Chicago last year, and I was even more floored just because at that point I think I only had like 300 subs. I was just making these kind of random videos and little reels here and there, and I don't know if you ever saw on YouTube or wherever the new Hashima city, that huge mock that had like 80 different creators, took like 2 years to put
Yes.
together.
Yeah.
And so I was able to interview one of the two leads on that, and he was like, "Oh yeah, no, yeah, I've seen some of your stuff and like on Instagram or whatever, scrolling through." And I was like, "Oh, dude,
There you
that's
go.
wild." So yeah, it was just kind of crazy to think about how, yeah, no, people notice, even if it's just like a reel here or there, or a post here or there, a video. Hey, stuff
Yeah.
gets out pretty quickly, and it's really easy as long as you're. I know some people probably wonder, oh, how do I talk to these people? How do I kind of, I guess, make friends in the community in a way? Is you just gotta be nice and gotta be kind. I think that's a better way of saying it than nice. Just gotta be kind and respectful, and
Yeah.
take the opportunities when they present themselves.
Yeah,
So,
for sure. And know when not to take opportunities
yeah,
for sure
like
is
read the room. Read the room.
yeah. If they're busy, maybe now then's not the time. There might be another opportunity. I was talking to Scott and I was just like, yeah, I'm a little nervous for Brick World. Like, I just don't know too many people. Like, I know no one's gonna really know too much of me. And he's like, you might be surprised how many people know who you are.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, okay, like, thanks, Scott. There's the confidence boost
Thanks,
there. I
Scott.
need that. Thanks, man. So yeah, I mean, I've learned that sub count really doesn't matter. It's all about the quality and, the type of work you put out and
Yeah.
stuff like that. So, and just how engaged you are with other people. People talk. So, yeah.
100%. And I swear, we all need to get a picture with Scott with like all the creators, which is pretty much everyone that
Yeah.
either like he's always in the chats, he's a member, or he's a
hmm
moderator or something like that. We need to all have him. We need to have him in the middle, and then we're all like circling him or like with our thumbs up or just like pointing
Yeah.
at him or something. That would be hilarious. Because I think
Yeah.
this is going to be his first time as well.
Yeah, I
I
think
think.
so. Scott, correct us if we're wrong. But yeah, we definitely need to like link up and, get some pics and stuff like that. I talked to him on voice call for the first time like not too long
Oh,
ago, and I
nice.
was just so ecstatic. I'm like, oh my God, he's real.
Dude, he's more famous than all of us because like we
Oh my
all know
gosh,
him.
yeah. Yeah, no, I
He's
think
the real
Scott
one.
is the most famous like Lego like community creator
Community
member
member, yeah.
yeah, just of all time.
What? Scott, no.
Yeah. No.
No, Scott, you said you were going this. I swear you said you were going this
You
year.
said you were going this year.
What's stopping you? I think you're from Ohio. You're pretty close. Hitch a ride with Brent. You
Yeah,
have
there
to.
you go.
Well, actually, that probably wouldn't be smart because then you'd be stuck in the whole week.
Did you get another nail in your tire again? I remember that like a while ago, he just kept getting nails in his tires, and of course, the Camaro. It's like you can't just buy one; you have to buy all 4 new tires.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh
So,
no, I got away with it. I got to nail him in the tire on my Forester coming back from Caleb's house, of course,
Mm.
and it was the mileage was low enough to where they didn't have to replace all 4. So I was
there you go.
very happy about that. Even if they said they had to, I probably would have been like, "No, it's fine.
Yeah.
It's not a performance vehicle. I'm just
Yeah,
driving it
with
normal."
my old car, I would have been like, "Nah, just do the one." You know, um,
I'm not
oh,
dropping
for Camry,
500
baby.
bucks. Yeah,
Damn.
man, that bums me out.
I know.
Scott, it's not April Fool's anymore. You can
Yeah,
cool it with the pranks. Like you're funny, but
yeah,
you don't have to be funny all the time. Okay, we know you're cool. If Tiger Builds goes, I could go with him.
Yeah, okay.
Can we? Is that an easier pull? Can we get him to go?
No, he has an internship and stuff like that. Got like
Bro.
he's doing big adult stuff. So,
There's time for adult stuff later.
yeah, later. Come on, Lego.
We have internships and they ask for time off. So I think, or we have at our company, they ask for time off. I mean, you won't get paid, obviously,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, Scott, I saw the picture of you and him meeting up at the Bricks and Minifigs store. That was awesome.
oh, that's super
And
cool.
Tiger Builds was the first one to actually meet Scott. I'm jealous.
He's a legend. Real quick, Kathleen said, CPA, how are these people finding out about Bionicle, though? How is it getting popular again? I think it's been 20 years since Bionicle first started. So for me personally, it's been about 20 years since I first got into it. So I think that there's definitely some truth to that 20-year cycle of nostalgia, if you want to call it, where you kind of go back and think, oh, yeah, I always loved that as a kid. Now I'm an adult. I have the adult money. I can buy that. I can get essentially whatever I want, essentially. So I think that has some of it to do with why it's coming back and getting popular again. But then, obviously, yeah, like Cooper says, you've got Duck Bricks. His lore video, when did that thing drop? Was that like 2020?
A couple years ago, right?
Let me pull it up real quick. 2 years ago. Let's get an exact date though, because sometimes YouTube, if it's not exactly 3 years, it'll say 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the most powerful beings in
The chat heard a little bit of the video. September 29th, 2021. So wait, that's okay, no, like 2.5. Yeah, 2.5 years, almost exactly. So I would say that certainly would have some to do with that and people realizing like, oh, there's 9 hours worth of Bionicle lore. I want to get into that.
And that's just scratching the surface.
Yeah. But then I think also, I mean, I don't want to take too much credit, but I'm going to take a little bit of credit of getting Caleb and Harry, Brickmaster Harry, back into Bionicle.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like a lot of domino effects of things like that coming back. And, you know, have you heard of Essinger?
No.
So he is a huge Bionicle fan. He also makes music. So he kind of blends the two. And if you are familiar with CryoShell, they made a lot of the Bionicle music back in the day, like the late 2000s. Yeah. So he collabed with them and that kind of stuff. And then, of course, Christian Faber. He's been a lot more active recently with his posts and with his Bionicle stuff, with his YouTube channel, making that a little bit more Bionicle centric. So I think it's just kind of a perfect storm of content creators swirling, showing a desire for this kind of stuff and just making good content. Even like Mitch builds, his videos are absolutely insane and they're killing it. I think that one, actually, let me go pull it up. Let me pull up his
I
videos.
also think if you remember the GWP, the Bionicle, like brick built Bionicle, that was like I think just last year or something like that.
Yeah, it was
Kind
like
of like
April 2023.
yeah, that at least Lego like recognizing it, you know, something like that. I don't know. It looks neat.
Yeah,
But yeah.
I get they're not going to make a new mold for a GWP, but I can't remember when I was saying it, but even if they would have literally just done a Kanohi mask, literally that, which still would have required a new mold and probably been a little crazy for them to consider doing. Even
Mhm.
something like literally just that, in my mind, it would have been better than the brick built GWP. I don't know if you were just
Yeah.
kind of like, yeah, it's cool, or if you had strong feelings one way or the other with that one.
Yeah, I thought it like, hey, that's pretty neat. Like,
Mhm.
you know, that's cool that they're like just recognizing it
Yeah.
again, kind of thing. I understand all the reasons why they did it, because I'm sure I don't know, I can't confirm nor deny that they still have any Bionicle molds. So, but yeah, just seeing it was just cool. It just brought back that nostalgia and kind of wanted me to like go back into the bins and see what I
Oh yeah.
had, like that. Yeah.
Yeah, no, certainly that would have some impact on it.
Hmm.
Maybe getting the ball rolling of sorts. And then, I mean, with me, it's just been getting full bore into it again, getting into the story a lot, as I've talked about with my desire to visualize the comics into this
Yeah.
more active, dynamic way than has been done in the past. And then like Caleb making
Hmm.
shorts here and there, Brickmaster Harry making shorts here and there about different random builds that he's purchased, and really showing people maybe something they hadn't seen before. Maybe they just thought Bionicle was just the Toa and that's all it was. But no, they had
Yeah.
some cool beefy builds back in the day. So
Oh,
bringing
yeah.
some awareness, I think
Mhm.
is important to that. So
Absolutely.
one thing really quick, actually, I did want to share, partially because it literally just happened. So this is live. This is live news for everyone in the chat. New information from me.
Listen up.
Yesterday, I emailed one of the artists for the Bionicle story. He wasn't in the first issue. I think he first started illustrating on issue 3. So, of course, showing the chat, we've got the 3 names, Farshti being Greg. I can't remember his name, was Deonda, Carlos Deonda, and then Randy Elliott being the last artist between Carlos Deonda and Randy Elliott. I was able to scour the internet and find his email, which he had posted in a manner of like, feel free to contact me if you want to. And so I shot him an email basically saying, hey, got back into Bionicle, saw your stuff. I'm kind of working on this comic project. It would be awesome to just connect with you and talk about art and your artwork and your contributions and how you approached everything, do an interview. And he just responded tonight at 11:47 p.m. Eastern. And I'm not going to say everything that he said because I want to keep some of it a little bit of a secret. He did ask if I was really a CPA, so that's kind of funny that people are always wondering if I'm actually a CPA, which yes, I am actually a CPA. So let's see. He says, oh, okay, that's good. He says, first of all, I would love to discuss Bionicle with anyone. So first of all, like sometimes I always wonder if some of these people that were involved in Bionicle, if maybe they're a little bitter about how things may have went down, or if it was just one of those things where it's like, yeah, it was a job back then and I'm not really into it as much anymore. But it's always cool when they enjoy their time and they're still like down to discuss Bionicle nowadays. I always love that. Let's see. Ooh, that's interesting. He says, I have all but 3 pages of the stories that I drew from issues 10 through 27. This is
That's
intriguing,
awesome.
actually. So it sounds like he might be interested in sharing some of that.
Dang, that's huge. That's sick.
See, and that's part of like what we were talking about is people wondering how do you get into this stuff? How do you meet people, get to the right people? You just got to do some searching and then shoot those emails out, man. Like shoot the emails out, shoot the LinkedIn messages out. If you don't get a response, okay, whatever. You tried. But when you do get like these golden nuggets, you can't pass them up. And this is going to be super cool because like he's literally drew these, and I'm curious to find out like to what extent, and certainly I'll find all that out. When hopefully I'll be able to connect with him.
What series did he work on? 3 through 10?
So he said I have all but 3 pages of the stories that I drew from issues 10 through 27. So let me actually look through.
Hey, check it out.
Which number is that? 27.
And this is one of the extra ones.
Whose name?
This is one of the extra ones that I have. So this is all yours.
Does it say Elliot at the top?
Yep, Elliot at the bottom,
Oh,
actually.
bottom.
Yeah.
So
Come on,
another
focus.
one that he drew, and it, so just so everyone knows, it was Farshti's name is obviously on every single one, and then you've got Carlos Deonda, and then Bennett was the first couple, and then it went to Elliot. So I think Carlos and Randy worked on the first couple up until 9, and then Deonda dropped, probably working on something else for DC. So then everyone after that, it's just... Let's see if we can focus.
Farshti
and... Come on. It's not liking this.
Oh, that looks so good.
Farshti and Elliot at the top. And this is, this is definitely, I'm so glad that I have this issue because it's the Rakshi. And the Rakshi were always my favorite as a kid. And I didn't own all of the Rakshi until last year. I just was like, I'm buying them all with canisters. Heck yeah.
Nice. There you go.
So it was
I think I have like 2, maybe 3 of them. I can't remember. I still have to go through and build all my brother's old Bionicles and stuff like that. You just posted a picture or a reel of one of them. It was the one guy riding that kind of 4-legged creature. He had I don't know. I'm really bad with names. But I have him. I just don't have his cape.
Vezon and Fenrak. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So I have that. I just gotta build it.
That set is amazing. I'm fortunate enough to have that one, which actually, funny enough, I have 3 of them because one for Vezon and Fenrak, one for the Cardus Dragon, which is the combination build, and then another one just because it was part of a really good deal lot that I purchased and I couldn't say no to because there were actually 2 sealed canisters in that lot. So like the lot was $125 and it had a sealed Mata Gali and a sealed Nuva Kopaka. So I was like, already, yes, 100%.
Yeah.
Then it also had, Vezon and Fenrak, and then Axon, and then Rudaka. So it had like all these other ones that just made it even more worth it. So I'm like,
Nice.
Those Facebook Marketplace finds they hit different, and it's I'll admit it's a bit of a dopamine rush when you finally are able to find one. But, oh my goodness.
For sure. Yeah, that's Facebook Marketplace is so addicting. Like it is dangerous. It's just dangerous, period. So.
Yeah,
But
100%.
hey, that's where you find the deals. That's where you find them.
It's true, because you got like the parents who are selling their kids stuff that the parents don't care about anymore, or the kids don't care about anymore, or they do and they just don't know their parents are selling it. So either way,
it's going to a good home.
yeah. Oh, 100%. It's gonna get some use out of it. Well, we're pushing 2 hours here, and I just thank you so much for coming on. I know you had a busy day. Don't want to take up any more of your day, but absolutely grateful to have you on here. Super looking forward to meeting you in Brick World Chicago. I'm super excited.
Yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate it, and I apologize for being a little tardy. But yeah, I appreciate you having me on and just chilling, chatting, and yeah, I'm super excited to meet you at Brick World, and we're gonna have a blast for sure.
It's gonna be wild. I mean, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then Saturday and the public day. It's gonna be gonna be crazy, and I'm so hyped for it. And then like hopefully by that point, my busy season should be done, and I should have all my jobs, all my audits issued, and all that stuff. So won't have to worry about anything. Can actually like have a true vacation, because this Florida one probably not going to be able to not work on some of it. So gonna have to work on a little bit, but
it's tough, man. I booked myself the 4 days before I fly out for Chicago. I'm working 4 12-hour days. I'm working some event and stuff like that. And it's just like, why do I do this to myself? And I'm like, oh yeah, so I can pay bills. And like that, Lego cash and stuff. But yeah, I mean, Chicago's gonna be like, we're gonna be tired, but it's gonna be like the best feeling.
Dude, yeah, I'm gonna have to like have a good night, probably for the full week before, just like get to bed. My sleep schedule is just messed up. I don't think I've gone to bed before midnight at all this year. So like get to bed at 11 if I can get to bed at 11 p.m. every night the week preceding and leading up to Brick World, I think I'll be golden. I could probably just get like 3 hours of sleep each night and be perfectly fine.
And then we get to Brick World, and it's just like we're staying up till 2 a.m. I don't know how it's gonna work. But
dude, it's gonna be, I would guess, 4 a.m. every night. That's gonna be my guess. Yeah. So when we've gone over to Caleb's house and just hung out on a weekend here, or Brick World Grand Rapids, another point, it was like 2 a.m. So 2 a.m. is easy.
That's not fair, because Caleb doesn't sleep. Period.
No, he really doesn't. I don't know how he does
it. He's a machine for sure. So
wild.
Yeah.
Well, and thank you so much everyone in the chat for stopping by. Let's see, we've got Cooper, we've got Scott, Kathleen as always, Squidman. Who else? Lou. I'll say your first name, Lou. That's acceptable. And then I think do we have one more person? Well, Will Bricks stopped by, and then of course we had a bunch of lurkers in chat, which is perfectly fine. Don't mind that at all. But
love the lurkers.
Yeah, they're the real supporters. Let's be honest.
Yeah, right.
But thank you so much, everyone in chat, for stopping by. I hope you had a wonderful time. And unfortunately, next week, actually, I think the next 2 weeks, I think I'm gonna be out of. No, next week I'll definitely be out of town, so won't have the podcast next week. Hopefully the week after that, we'll move to an every other week for the next chunk of time. So thank you so much, everyone for stopping by. Obviously, check out LEGOMEN 360 at LEGOMEN 360 on YouTube and Instagram if you haven't already. I imagine most of you have, but definitely do that if you haven't already. And we'll see you in 2 weeks in any videos that I post between now and then.
Catch you next one.